this time we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Havok from the Wal-Mart Giant Man series. Look at the back of the package here. You can see the statistics and the write-up for Havok, as well as all the figures in the wave and the Giant Man Build-A-Figure. Now, this is his classic costume, and he kind of has a hard costume to capture. It's got this weird headpiece, and but the rest of the suit is pretty straightforward. Skin tight spandex, I guess you would say. But the headpiece is very intricate. Now, they did their best on this. It's not entirely accurate, but it's fairly, fairly spot on. The sculpt is very nice. You can see on his uniform there, in several places, there are folds of the cloth, as well as sculpted details of the muscles underneath. The face sculpt got a very angry face there, but it's pretty nice. The mask and the jewel in his forehead, on his forehead, and you see these funky little headpiece things there. They should be a little bit thinner and connect under the red jewel on his mask there, but I'm willing to forego accuracy there, because it is very difficult to get that done, and I do like that they actually decided to try and carry it off. As you can probably kind of see on the picture here, they actually did a little bit better on the prototype figure, but they must have changed it when they went to production to make it easier and maybe a little bit more solid for the headpiece. Now, paint is pretty nice. I mean, he's pretty much black, with the exception of his circles on the suit there and his flesh tone, which they got nice. There's a little spot of silver, very nice silver there at the neck. Paint job, there's not much to complain. For articulation, he's a very articulate figure. Head goes forward and back very well, left and right. He's got the extra shoulder joints here, so that's pretty cool. The shoulders do go all the way around, out to the side. Rotate at the bicep. He's got double elbow joints. He rotates at the forearms. The wrists bend, and his fingers are all articulated together. He's got this nice, very ratchety upper torso articulation. He's a little stiff on the waist articulation, but he does have it. He's got pretty nice hip articulation. Not quite as wonky as the Hasbro joints, but it's still a little bit wonky, and you got to play around with both the positioning of the ball joint here and his upper thigh articulation to get him into a straightforward leg bend. But he does have double knee joints. He rotates at the calf there, bends at the ankle, forward and back, as well as has ankle pivot there, side to side, and he's got a toe joint as well. So yeah, for accessories, he doesn't come with anything else besides the piece of Giant Man and the comic book. I keep forgetting that these old Marvel Universe figures used to come with comic books. Now, Havok, or Alexander Alex Summers, first appeared in X-Men number 54 back in 1969. He is the second son of Major Christopher Summers and Catherine Ann Summers. And while flying in a de Havilland Mosquito, the family encountered a Shi'ar spacecraft, which assaulted the wooden plane, when resulting in it catching fire. And his parents fastened Alex and his older brother Scott together into a parachute and threw them out of the plane before the craft managed to destroy the plane entirely. And so they safely drifted to Earth and thought that their parents had perished in the explosion. However, they were taken aboard the spacecraft back to the Shi'ar area of the galaxy. So both Alex and Scott were put into an orphanage. However, for some reason, Alex was quickly adopted by a family, and it just so happens that this family had a son of about the same age who had recently died in a car accident. An altercation with I believe it was a teenager that was responsible for the death of that kid, resulted in Alex's mutant power manifesting when his foster sister was endangered. Unfortunately, Alex incinerated the teen. You might call it luck that the geneticist known as Mr. Sinister was overwatching the Summers family because of his interest in their mutant powers. So he stepped in and basically mind-wiped everybody's knowledge of this. Alex grew up went to school and received a degree in geophysics, and he remained pretty much unaware of his powers until he was kidnapped by the living pharaoh, whose power closely resembled Alex. They were both draining off of the same sources of radiation to get their power, and so the living pharaoh isolated Alex, thus absorbing the amount of cosmic radiation that Alex would normally absorb. That added power created the living monolith. The monolith was eventually defeated by the X-Men, and that's how the two Summers brothers were reunited. Soon after that, he was taken hostage by Larry Trask's Sentinels, and that's when he was given this costume to monitor his power level. You can see the concentric rings here would appear on the costume the more power that he had, and it would also serve as a warning that he would need to release the power in several blasts, or else I guess he would go critical or something like that. And pretty soon this his excess power was absorbed by the being known as Sauron, and he gained full control over his powers. He joined the X-Men and met Lorna Dane, and they started a relationship. Post Krakatoa, he became a reserve X-Men, and he helped out Moira McTaggart on her Muir Island Mutant Research Center. He and Polaris, or Lorna Dane, remained together basically until Polaris was possessed by Malice, and effectively ending their relationship. Now, he had a brief relationship. This is where it gets really screwy. He had a relationship with Madeline Pryor, who was married to his brother Scott, and she was actually targeted by the Marauders, and the X-Men stepped in to save her. That's when he rejoined the X-Men, and they were thought to have died in battle against the American Indian god known as the Adversary. They did not die and were hiding out in the outback. Unfortunately, Madeline Pryor then was manipulated into becoming the Goblin Queen by demons, and then afterwards the X-Men were forced into going through the Siege Perilous, where they would become reborn. And Havok would turn up in Genosha as a magistrate, which was a non-mutant mutant, which was part of the police force of that state. He eventually regained his memory in time to rescue the X-Men from Cameron Hodge, who had taken over Genosha. Soon after that, when X-Factor was reformed as part of a government-sponsored mutant team, he became the leader of that team. It's there that he was reunited with Polaris, and they got married, I believe. Not quite sure. Alex was brainwashed by the Age of Apocalypse Beast, also known as Dark Beast, to join his Brotherhood of Evil. However, he managed to break it, but remained a part of the team basically as a double agent to see what they were going to be planning. He was trying to reform a X-Factor team when he was sent off by an explosion to the parallel world of Mutant X, where basically all the supernatural creatures of the Marvel Universe were in charge. He replaced that universe's Havok as the leader of the X-Men team of that world. He did make it back to the regular Marvel Universe, was reunited with Polaris after some soap opera thing during the Chuck Austin run, which was totally awful. He went off into space to pursue his recently discovered brother, Vulcan, who was off to basically destroy the Shi'ar Empire. During that fight with his brother, Vulcan, he witnessed his father's death, and he was stranded in Shi'ar space with Polaris and the Marvel Girl, and basically decided to, with them, form a new group of Starjammers following in his father's footsteps. And he's just come back recently in the pages of X-Men Legacy, when I guess it was Rogue on Earth somehow received a distress call from the Starjammers, and which basically said that they were captured and were going to die, and so she took a team of X-Men into space to perform a rescue mission, and we'll see where that goes. Anyway, I guess that'll be it for Havok. Stay tuned for some more X-Men Marvel Legends reviews, and until my next video, I'll see ya.